make tonight possible. Well, with no further ado, I was under the idea that tonight's debate was about the existence of God, not biblical inspiration and inerrancy. So perhaps I misread my invitation, but I came here prepared tonight to offer proofs rather than critiques and attacks. I think that's something you're going to follow the whole night. As the Christian, and I am a Christian, so I'll be coming from a Christian worldview, but as I offer to you a theistic worldview, I want you to understand that I will be offering proofs for God's existence, not just attacking others. And I hope that you'll find this more constructive. Well, this subject tonight is not some sort of intellectual exercise for me. It is rather a very personal matter. As a matter of fact, I was in South Africa, Cape Town, South Africa, in the summer of 2001. And it was there that I was talking with intellectuals on the campus, and our conversations seemed to always loan themselves to matters of faith. After many a conversation, my own personal faith was, I'll just call it a crisis of faith. I was ready to walk away from everything I'd ever believed and everything I'd ever been taught. But before I did that, I thought, well, I might as well go ahead and investigate some of these claims. And what I'd like to share with you tonight is what I found. But before I do that, I want to go ahead and tell you one of my favorite Bible passages. It's about a talking donkey. Now, for you atheists, that's exactly why I don't believe the Bible. For you Christians, you're like, do you really want to do that, Drake? I do. I do. Here's why. If God can speak through a dumbass, he can speak through me. Now, that being said, I want you to know that because tonight's debate is not about biblical inerrancy and inspiration, that I'm going to put my Bible down tonight. And we're going to build an argument which we can all relate to. We're going to build an argument from design, from ethics, and from history. So, I'm not a scientist, but I've thanks to the Birmingham Freethought Society, I've been allowed to use multimedia tonight. So I'm going to let you hear from experts in their particular field on 3 areas of design that I think are most intriguing and quite compelling. We're going to begin with a cosmological argument, taking a look at the universe and really exploring, has it always existed or did it have a beginning? The implications there are profound. Secondly, we're going to take a look at Earth and the statistical probability that life as we know it exists. Does it take more faith to believe it's by random chance or by design? And last, we're going to go to DNA. And we're going to look at the information that's encoded with your own body. And we're going to ask ourselves, is this chance or design? Now, before I do, I know that the real debate tonight is not really about the existence of God. Because I'm going to offer to you, I think, compelling evidence. And if you'll follow where the evidence leads, I think you'll find the truth. But for most people, it's not the evidence that hinders them from just a concept of God. It's the implications. If there is a God, the implications is that you might be accountable to him. And I think that sits uncomfortably with a lot of people. So I think that's the real debate in the room tonight. Well, with no further ado, let me go ahead and tell you one story, and then we'll move to a video to illustrate my point. There's a man. He's driving home one night. He gets hit by a truck. They race him off to the hospital. They resuscitate him. They say, "Sir, we've got to do surgery or you're going to die." And he said, "I'm already dead. You don't understand. No one could survive that hit. I ran head into a 16-wheeler. I must be dead." They said, "No, seriously, you can make it. You're alive. Just let us operate on you." He said, "I'm dead. There's no reason to operate, Doc. I'm dead." And the doc was like, "Listen, you're alive." And the doc didn't know what to do. But finally he said, "Okay, listen. You know that dead men don't bleed, right?" And the guy was like, "Yeah, Doc, everybody knows that." And so the doc quickly reached out and pricked the guy in the arm. And all of a sudden blood started to come out of his arm. He looked down, and the guy said to the doc, "What do you know? Dead men do bleed." So, listen, let's go ahead and take a look at scientific evidence and try and put aside our presuppositions and go where the evidence leads, okay?
The Kalam argument is deceptively simple in its formulation. It consists of basically 3 steps. Premise 1 is that whatever begins to exist has a cause. Something cannot come into being uncaused out of absolutely nothing. Premise 2 is that the universe began to exist. And the remarkable development that has occurred is that for the first time, we now have solid scientific evidence for the truth of that second premise that the universe began to exist. And from those two premises, it follows logically, therefore, the universe has a cause of its existence. Whatever begins to exist has a cause. The universe began to exist, therefore the universe has a cause of its existence. And that points to a reality beyond the universe, a transcendent reality beyond space and time, and therefore non-physical and immaterial, which created the universe out of nothing and brought it into being.
The implications of a finite universe, coupled with other discoveries of modern cosmology, have led many scientists to unmistakably theological conclusions. There is no ground for supposing that matter and energy existed before and were suddenly galvanized into action. It is simpler to postulate creation ex nihilo, divine will constituting nature from nothingness.
The chain of events leading to man commenced suddenly and sharply, at a definite moment in time, in a flash of energy and light.
We can't understand the universe in any clear way without the supernatural.
Supernatural creation of the universe in a flash of energy and light. You know, it sounds an awful lot like the first chapter of Genesis to me. Today, the vast majority of even the most skeptical astronomers and cosmologists believe that the universe had a beginning. This belief isn't based on some theological doctrine. It's based on scientific evidence. And I think if we follow the evidence wherever it points clearly and powerfully and persuasively in the direction of a creator.
So, the argument that's laid out before you is simply this, that the universe had a beginning. Some call it the Big Bang, and the Big Bang clearly suggests that out of nothing, there became something. If it had a beginning, and it came into existence, it had a cause. And that cause was God. Now, let's bring it a little closer to home and take a look at our own planet. I want you to keep in mind here, again, what is the statistical probability that life on Earth exists as a product of chance rather than design?
For more than a decade, Guillermo Gonzalez has researched the characteristics of a planet required to support complex life. Estimates vary, but a current list of these factors would number at least 20 and include an oxygen-rich atmosphere, liquid water and large continental landmasses, a home star of the right temperature and mass, an orbital path that is neither too far nor too close to the home star, a moon large enough to stabilize the tilt of the planet's axis and the movement of its tides, a magnetic field strong enough to deflect the sun's radiation, and a position in the relatively narrow habitable region of a spiral galaxy.
All these factors have to be met at one place and time in the galaxy if you're going to have a planet as habitable as the Earth, which you need for complex and even technological life.
Theorists have attempted to calculate the odds of all the necessary factors for life appearing at the same time on the same planet. A conservative estimate is 1 chance in 10 to the negative 15th, or 1/1000th of 1 trillionth.
Look at that number. And that